So first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone for hopping on today's virtual pathway session. Today, we're going to be talking about business and information technology. It is our fourth session with the MCPC virtual pathway project. My name is Clint Davis. I am the career coordinator or student coordinator at Stroudsburg Area School District. I want to thank you all for attending today. Students, I have tried to put the link to your attendance in the chat. If it's not working, let me know at the end of the session. I will figure out a way to make sure we mark you for attendance. So on the call today, we have two representatives of business and information technology. We have Angel Pinheiro, Vice President of Strategic Academic Relations for CompTIA, and we have Tom Grayski, Senior Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer for ESSA Bank, and we might have Jim Ertl of Ertl Enterprises joining us a little bit later. I'm not sure if Jim's going to be able to make the call or not, but if not, we have two amazing presenters that have given us and volunteered their time to be able to present and help our students at our Monroe County school districts. All presenters, you will have about 20 minutes to present your career pathway, telling us about your pathway, how you got to where you are today. You can also tell us what opportunities you have to help students in the future if there are any possibilities. During the session, students feel free to use the chat function to ask questions, and you can also raise your hand. The format of the presentation, what we've been doing and what has worked very well is we have our presenters present, and then we have our students kind of do an open Q&A after each presenter. So I just wanted to let you know that, and that's kind of what we're going to do. Tom and Angel, I don't know if either of you have obligations after this, or you need to jump off the call early. If so, if one of you wants to take the lead, that's fine. If not, we can go straight in order with Angel. He was first on my list, and then we can go to Tom, or vice versa. It doesn't matter, whichever you guys prefer. So
that works for me.
Okay, so Angel, you'll lead off, and Tom will clean up. And again, I appreciate you guys for being on the call, and I appreciate all of our students who are able to attend today. So thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Angel of CompTIA.
All right, thank you, Clint. I don't think I have 20 minutes of presentation material, but certainly, what I love best about these things is a Q&A session. So if at the end of my presentation there are Q&As, that would be appropriate, or we want to wait to the end, Clint? You tell me.
So we've been waiting to the end, Angel, but since there's two presenters, we can just do it right after your presentation. We can see if there's any questions, and then we'll do the same for Tom.
Okay, cool. So like Clint said, my name is Angel Pinheiro, and I work for CompTIA. CompTIA is a global not-for-profit trade association. We are in over 150 countries. We represent the technology industry. We represent technology companies, technology professionals, and it doesn't matter what type of technology. We represent them from the standpoint of education, advocacy, etc. We are well known for our A+ certification. It's been around for more than 25 years. The A+ certification is the standard in terms of support, IT support, computer support, network support, and it's been accepted and recognized by businesses, companies all over the world. It basically states that if you have this certification, you have the skills necessary and required to support computer equipment and devices and software, etc. I've been in the business now. This is my 41st year. I started in 1981, and I started as an entry-level computer repair technician. And my degree, which I got after I got into the technology industry, it's in theology. It has nothing to do with technology. It was a training that I took in electromechanical technology that at the end of completing this training, I received a certificate, and that certificate was my ticket into the tech world. And I never looked back. 40, almost more than 40 years later, here I am, and I still love what I do. I don't repair computers anymore, but I work with many students in high school and middle schools and colleges to advocate and provide the education, the skills, the certification in the tech world so that they can have an opportunity to join this very lucrative and wonderful and fun industry. And since I'm talking about credentials and certifications, that is something that is extremely important. Credentials is something that tells potential employers that you have committed yourself to learning certain skills and you are proficient in those skills, for them to feel comfortable that they have what they need in order for you to be a productive employee in their organization should they hire you. The way I like to compare credentials, right, is like a driver's license. So you can be the best driver in the world. You can be driving for years and no one better than you driving. But if you don't have a driver's license and you get stopped by a police officer, I don't care what you tell that police officer. You can say, look, I know I master the art of driving. It's not going to get you anywhere because you don't have proof that you can drive that vehicle safely according to the state, right? So you need that proof. Well, that's what credentials are. And you know what? If you don't know that person, you will want to make sure that that person has the right credentials as well. I'll use another analogy, right? Would you trust, if you're on an airplane as a passenger, would you trust the pilot to tell you, I don't have my pilot license, but I do know how to fly this plane. Would that fly with you? I can tell you that I will get off of that plane as soon as I possibly can. I will not fly with somebody that don't have the right credentials to operate that plane, 35,000 feet above the ground. So they're very important. Now, credentials is not something that really, how would I put it? They say that credentials is something that would get you in the door, but it's your knowledge and experience that will allow you to keep that job, right? So having the skills and the credentials is not necessarily enough. It's a requirement for many organizations, but once you start that job, you really need to show that you know what you're doing, and that comes through experience. Now, you may say, well, how do I get the experience if I'm not offered the job? Well, that's where internships come in and work-based learning. That is an answer to that problem that often people come up with, in the fact that that no one's giving you the opportunity. Well, many employers are now allowing students and adults to get that work-based learning experience through internships. Now, some are paid, some are not. I know that in Monroe County, the internships that are out there, the districts are doing everything they can to make sure that these internships are paid, but they're very important. So I know I jumped from credentials to internships. They go hand in hand. Technology jobs are in very, very high demand. Just this past year, the number of job postings in the US has increased by 43%. In terms of what that represents in numbers, 1.1 million additional job postings happened last month versus the same period last year. And because of the high demand in people that have technology skills, there's been an increase in the wages and the salaries in tech jobs. And that increase, depending on the type of job and depending where, has increased between 20 and 50%. So people are making a lot more money. They're highly sought after. And the neat thing about technology jobs as well is that you could really work for many organizations regardless of where they are. Take myself for an example. The corporate headquarters for CompTIA is located in Chicago, but I live here in Monroe County in Pennsylvania, and I get my job done very effectively and efficiently remotely. So technology gives you the opportunity to continue to live where you are and work for an organization that may not be doesn't even have to be in the United States. You could be working for a company that's in Israel or the UK or Japan or what have you, but employed right here in Monroe County because of the tools and resources that technology makes available. So you have many options. Technology jobs are also very, very widespread. It's not just about being able to take a computer apart or being able to be very good with software. There are many different roles that many folks may not even give any thought to. So for example, if you're very good in time management, you're very organized, you keep detailed records, well, you may want to consider a project management position in the tech world. If you're social and you like to talk and you can communicate well, maybe you can sell technology. Maybe you can be in marketing. If you're a problem solver, maybe being in engineering, being in IT support, working on a service desk. If you like forensics type work, really getting deep into stuff where stuff is hard to find, investigative, cybersecurity is an area where you may want to look into. And let me tell you, cybersecurity jobs, extremely highly sought after. And you're talking about average salaries in excess of $100,000 a year. And there just aren't enough people with those skills. But, gaming, if you like to play video games, big area in technology. Esports, you can combine sports and technology. Robotics, another area. If you like to work with numbers, data analytics, another big area, data scientists. So the point here is that technology covers so many different areas, and the type of industries also varies. It's going to be very, very difficult, very challenging for anyone to be able to find an industry where technology is not relevant. There is technology in law enforcement. I mean, I just held a webinar of an esteemed panel about a month ago, where it was how first responders and civil service workers utilize technology in their careers and how they utilize it to protect, serve, and heal. And we had our very own chief of police for the region of Stroud Township on that panel. But we also had a brigadier general from the Air Force. We had a U.S. Secret Service agent. We had a inspector detective from the UK. We had the medical director of the Romania National Ambulance Service on the panel. We had a New York City firefighter. And they were all talking about how technology is extremely important in their careers and in the people that are in that they manage and supervise. The health industry, big time. I mean, it is incredible how much technology is relevant in that industry. And like I said, I've been in the industry now 41 years, and I was excited about it when I was a young 21-year-old in the 80s, early 80s. And now, I'm just as passionate as I was back then. I love it. Everything that I do. Love the fact that I can meet people. I've been all over the world in terms of where this job has taken me. And in terms of getting into the tech space, it's totally up to you. There are two tracks. You can go the post-secondary track where you continue your education in college, whether it's a 4-year degree program in technology, whether it's a 2-year community college, or whether you go to a tech school to continue what you've learned in high school. Or you can start from if you didn't take up any technology programs in high school, you can, but you want to continue, you want to learn those skills, you can continue that in any one of those institutions that I said. Or if you did take technology in high school and you earned some certifications and you had some internships, getting that hands-on experience, you can go right into the workforce right after you get your high school diploma. Totally up to the individual. The fact of the matter is that there are traditional pathways, that's through college, and there's alternative pathways, and that's through just getting the skills and the certifications that you can go right into the workforce. I know many folks, including myself, like I said, where their degrees had nothing to do with their jobs that they have now in technology. But it takes you have to have an interest, right? If you like I said, if you're a problem solver, if you like to do stuff with your hands, if those are the type of things that you need to decide within yourself to see if it's something that you want to give a shot out in terms of, or give a try in terms of that industry. I didn't talk about coding. Coding is another one. I'm glad that I just remember. Coding is also part of technology. So if you like to be in front of a computer and you like to write code, well, tech is maybe that's something that you can consider. Automotive, a lot of shops are not even calling their workers mechanics. They're calling them service technician. I was driving on 80 the other day, and I saw this sign where it advertised for service technicians, and these are folks that are working on cars because of all the technology that's in these cars today. So that's just an example of how prevalent technology is in this society today. If you don't have those tech skills, even the very basic tech skills, you're going to be at a severe disadvantage in life. I really mean that. So whether you get those tech skills for a job that you're looking for, or you just want to be able to be productive in society, you need to get those tech skills, whether they're fundamentals or more advanced. You need to get those. I think, Clint, I may have covered everything that I wanted to cover. Oh, one other thing, when I'm talking to students that I want to mention, and I want to make sure that I mentioned here, whatever you decide to do in life, right? Make sure it's something that you enjoy doing. The last thing that you want to do is start a career in something that you hate, something that you don't like, because you will be miserable every single day you're in that field. Find that passion, right? My passion was tech. And tech has been very good to me. My kids are in tech and they love it, right? But find what you want to do, find what you enjoy doing, and you're gonna do okay. So with that, Clint, I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'm here to answer. I'll stay for Tom's presentation as well. When we were in other panels in the past, and I enjoy what he has to say. So I'm not going anywhere.
Does anyone have any specific questions for Angel? I think I do. If any of our students might not,
one other thing, Clint, that maybe
Yeah.
that this comes up, and that is, you may have a question, do you need to be really good at math? No, you don't need to be really good at math. In fact, I'm not really very good at math. And the math that I learned was in dollars and cents, because business is a big part of what I do. But please don't tell me about algebra and trigonometry and physics, because that's been part of that was when I was in school, and I don't remember any of that. But in certain areas, certain type of job functions, yeah, it's good to have a good foundation in math. But it's not necessary for all job functions in technology. I think it's the best way to answer that question. It won't hurt you, but certainly not necessary for many IT jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Angel for 2 years now, and I think one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten from working with him is I've learned greatly that, like he said, there's traditional pathways for technology, but there's a lot of non-traditional pathways, or maybe not going for a 4-year degree. And I actually have a couple friends who work in coding, and they actually went to college, and I've talked to them about that. And one of the things that they said to me is they actually would have saved their money and gone the certification and boot camp route. So that's something, just so you know, I think there's a lot of careers now that times are changing. Technology's changing. Angel is able to work for a company, I believe he said, in Chicago, and he lives in Monroe County. A lot of he possibly could have even some people probably in his company don't have a college degree. They have a certification. Many.
Yeah.
So they might have spent, I don't know, Angel, like, could you give us maybe an example of like how long some of these certification takes, and then maybe like a salary?
Yeah. So I started off this by saying the most popular is the CompTIA A+ certification. There's over 2 million A+ certified technicians in the world. And you can complete the A+ certification training in less than 2 months. Okay. There's IT fundamentals. IT fundamentals would you be before A+. If you have no experience whatsoever, no knowledge of technology skills, I will go with IT fundamentals. It's exactly what it says. They're very basic. That can be completed in 22 hours. So I would say that, several weeks, couple of months, you throw in an internship for maybe 2 months, 3 months to get that hands-on experience, and you're well on your way to starting a career in tech. So yeah, it's not going to take you, the 2 years from a community college, or 4 years in a traditional university or college. Yeah, and the other thing too is you're young, right? Every student here, the students are very young. You want to experience life. You may not know what you want to do right out of high school, right? So, just pick carefully what pathway you're going to take.
Yeah, Angel, with that being said, like, you can, again, I'm not a tech wizard. I've never worked in tech really. But from my knowledge, from talking to you and some other people in tech, is then you can also build upon those original certifications that you get, and basically get more advanced certifications as you're working. You can basically continue your education through certifications.
Absolutely, right. And I said that I got into this career because I took this 6-month course in electromechanical technology. That was my start. That was my ticket in. But once I got in, for the next 3-4 years, I was taking so many different trainings, and each training gave me a certification. It's an ongoing process. And I can tell you, I don't care what industry you get into, you never stop learning. You're going to continue to take trainings and learn. The only time you start the only time that you stop learning is when you're dead, right? As long as you're alive, you have to continue to learn. If not, you know what? While you're not learning, people around you are learning the skills that they need, and they're just going to pass over you, right? So it's competitive. Every industry is competitive, and things change. Technology changes, and so you need to stay on top of it, and you need to get the training. And let's say you start off in IT support today, and you try for a year, you try for 2 years, and all of a sudden you got a little taste of cybersecurity, and you decide, you know what, I want to go that track. Or you did some coding, you say, you know what, I'm going to go into software engineering or application development. You may like networking, so you may go to the data center or working on network infrastructure. So you may love design. So you're not stuck anywhere. As long as you continue to learn and you continue to get the relevant skills and you get the certifications in that pathway, you can go into so many different areas. And that remote work that I said, it doesn't matter. I said I live here in Monroe. My company is in Chicago. I can pick up my computer. I can go to Hawaii. I can go to Japan and still get my work done, right? As long as I have internet service and I have to get my work done. So you can plan vacation time. You can plan, you can do some travel and still be able to get your work done. So there are perks of being in tech because of the tools that are available.
All right, if we don't have any other questions, we're going to go into Tom from ESSA Bank and Trust. And again, we'll wrap up with some questions at the end if anyone thinks of any for these two guys that volunteered their time to come help us out. So again, as Tom's presenting, keep thinking of questions you might have for Angel and also questions you might have for Tom as he wraps up his presentation. So, all right, Tom, if you want to take the floor and you can tell us about ESSA Bank and your career path.
Okay, thanks, Clint. As Angel said, I learned a lot listening from him. And I think a lot of what I'm going to talk about is certainly going to dovetail along the lines of what he presented today. One of the things that we just talked about was learning. Never stop learning. You need to make a commitment to yourself that you'll have lifelong learning. It's important because things change. And as Angel said, if you stop learning, someone's going to pass you over because they're going to be like a sponge. And learning isn't taking formal classes, whether you're in a classroom in high school or college. It's learning from your colleagues. It's picking up articles in a particular trade. All kinds of things can happen. You can learn it on TV. You can. There's so many different ways to learn, but never stop learning. And we talked about taking higher level math classes or higher level science classes. You may never use those classes again or that knowledge that you've gained again in your career field unless you're in that particular career. I too have taken a lot of high level math and sciences over the years, but I haven't used it in human resources. But what it does, it helps you to think at a higher level. It helps your creativity. You can just, certainly think at a much higher level, which is so important, when you're communicating and interacting with others. As I go through my talk today, you'll see I'm going to focus more on the soft skills because that's what's really important. The technical aspect of a job, if you have the skill set, whether it's a certification or a degree or just the overall experience and your interaction that you've had over the years to develop your soft skills, any company can teach you the technical aspects of a job. Again, you have to have the basic fundamental skills, but they'll teach you exactly what it is you need to do in order to be successful for that particular company. So as I start, I'll just give you a little background of how I got to where I am today. I have a undergraduate degree from East Stroudsburg University in economics, And I also have a master's degree in human resources administration from the University of Scranton with a concentration in labor relations. I also, back in the early 90s, or late 90s, I guess it was, I entered into a program that we have here in Monroe County, which is a year-long program called Leadership Pocono. And that, I think I learned the most in that program that I did in any of my other learning experiences. Because what that gave me, what it did for me, it helped develop my leadership skills at an early age. So that when I advanced in my career and got more involved in leadership roles, a lot of those skills that were taught, I was able to use in all of the positions that I've had over the years, and in particular in my position here at the bank today. But more importantly, what that program did for me, it opened up networking opportunities. And through that, I got to speak to representatives, whether it was owners of companies in the local area or managers for those companies. And a lot of those contacts that I've made, over the last, 10, 20 years, I still use today. And we're good friends and good colleagues, and we help one another out. And you'll see during my talk today how important it is to be successful. You have to work well as a team. You have to collaborate. You have to do a number of things that rely on others to help support whatever it is you're doing in order to be successful. And working in a service-oriented industry such as the banking industry, that's so important and so critical because you're always trying to formulate financial plans and trying to anticipate what the current needs are and also the future needs of your customers. And in order to do that, there's a number of different people throughout the organization that have to weigh in on helping support that initiative. Because again, the customer is the one that is coming to us and relying on our financial knowledge to help them formulate a plan to meet their financial needs. But early on in my career, I always held numerous jobs in the service industry because I guess I'm a people person. I like interacting and like to help others. And it was here that I developed my commitment to serving customers. Being successful as an individual and a company depends on quality service. Service that pleases and keeps customers coming back. Again, without customers, you wouldn't have a job, and customers make paydays possible. And this applies to all industries, not just the financial services industry or a manufacturing industry. It doesn't matter what career field you are in. And when I was in high school and in college, I worked in the spring, summer, and fall on a golf course at Shawnee. This was probably one of my best jobs I ever had. It was working outdoors, but it was trying to make the customer's experience a memorable one because there's many golf courses throughout the Poconos and throughout the surrounding area. So we had to win their business. And the way we did it was by providing exceptional customer service. Again, my theme is going to be about serving customers. And in the winters, I worked at both Shawnee and Camelback ski mountains. Through these jobs, I gained firsthand knowledge of the importance of customer service and the true meaning of providing a memorable experience for our guests. It is here that I learned, what it takes to make customers want to come back. But I quickly realized that guests, again, had many choices on where they could golf or ski. And that was ingrained in us. And I took pride in doing that. Again, being on the front line, I'm customer facing. I'm not somebody in the back room that the customer doesn't see. So what I do not only reflects positively or negatively on me, but it's a reflection on the company as a whole. So often you see, and I say this all the time to our employees, you can have a name on a building, ESSA Bank and Trust, or you could, whatever the company is, that name alone means nothing. It's the people that stand behind the name that bring it to life and give it the good reputation it has. And in some cases, maybe it's a bad reputation, but it's the reputation that has been created by the people that interact with the customers. We need to win their business by providing an enjoyable experience for them, day in and day out. You have one chance to make a first impression. You heard over the pandemic, when we talk about first responders, people in the hospitals that were on the front line working to help with the patients that came in with COVID. And a lot of times they were the only ones that had interacted with the patient. Their loved ones and family members weren't allowed in. So they had to do whatever they could, not only to provide the care that was needed, but also to comfort them in time of need. So again, it goes back to the employee and the person that's on the front line facing the customer. So those jobs are so important, and don't ever take those skills and that responsibility lightly, because that's the fundamental foundation that makes a company who they are. What I like most about the jobs that I had, again, it helped further develop my soft skills. And it's the soft skills, if you take anything from this talk that I'm giving today, it's the soft skills are what wins people over. It's so important. You have to have the soft skills in order to be successful. They will carry you through life. Upon graduating from college, I started my career in human resources. The best part of this job was seeking candidates that have exceptional customer skills. And I've used this throughout my entire career. You've got to hire people that have exceptional customer service skills. The technical part of the job, we can teach them, but if you don't have those skills that will win people over, then you're defeating, the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. Currently, I work at ESSA Bank and Trust as the Senior Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer. I'm responsible for overseeing all aspects of the business that impact our employees. This means giving them, our employees, challenging work, competitive pay and benefits, and also, in some instances, a bonus for a job well done. My job has given me the opportunity to continue working in my hometown. And you might say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, it's a very big deal for me, because it gives me the opportunity to volunteer and give back to the community that has been so good to me. You need to, I think it's so important to be part of your community. It just makes living here, makes your work much more meaningful. And when you have those contacts in the community and wanting to serve others, whether you give of your time or your treasures to an organization that's near and dear to your heart, doing those types of things, certainly brings satisfaction to others. And in many instances, it may be in time of need, or it'll be in a time when maybe they couldn't have appreciated or received the things that you're doing for them had you not volunteered your time or given financially to help support a worthy cause. So again, it's important, and I encourage everyone to get involved in your community in the form of volunteerism. I currently serve on a number of boards in our community. I'm on the Lehigh Valley Health Pocono Board, the Council of Trustees at East Stroudsburg University. I'm chairman of the Pocono Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice Board, and also the General Advisory Council for the Monroe Career and Technical Institute, and also the Monroe Career Pathways Coalition. So I take my volunteer jobs very seriously. If you're going to volunteer, just don't be there when it's time for a picture or the cameras are shining bright, or the lights are shining bright and the cameras are there, to take your picture. Do it when no one's looking, behind the scenes, when all the work's accomplished. Give it your all. You won't regret it. I'd like to take a moment just to give you a brief history on ESSA Bank and Trust, my employer for over 26 years now. I have over 35 years working in human resources. So this is a career that I've enjoyed doing for a long period of time. ESSA was founded in 1916, and we're going to be 106 years old this year. And when we first started, it was to provide housing, or to meet the housing needs in Monroe County. In April 2007, ESSA converted from a mutual to a publicly owned entity where we now have shareholders. We expanded since then our footprint from serving the financial needs of Monroe County residents to all people across eastern Pennsylvania. We have offices in Philadelphia, the Lehigh Valley, the Pocono region, and also Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. At ESSA, we believe in supporting our community through employee volunteering and charitable giving to improve the quality of life for the people in the communities in which we reside. So we really encourage all of our employees to get involved. And it's not just after hours. Even during work, if somebody has a passion for an organization and they want to volunteer their time, whether they're serving on committees or boards or just, doing whatever, lending a helping hand in any way they can, we encourage that. We also do casual dress down days where we'll raise money for organizations, and we do that on a monthly basis. So we really want to engage our employees in our community because that's who we serve, and we feel it's really important. When we went public back in 2007, the proceeds that we raised through our initial public offering, we gave $10 million that we put into our foundation so that we can give back to the community to support their needs. We expect our employees to bring, now this is where it comes in, where I come into play here, where what is important in order to be successful. And this isn't just here at ESSA. It's important no matter what industry you're in and what company you work for. You need to bring your best attitude each day. You have to communicate effectively. You have to think creatively. Again, this goes back to all the classes you take, the higher level classes. You may wonder, when am I ever going to use it? Or why do I need this? You may never use it exactly the way it was intended or learned, but it helps develop your thought processes and it develops your creativity. You can think at a higher level. And most importantly, never give up. Life isn't easy. Work isn't easy. There's a lot of things in life that aren't easy. So don't be a quitter. Roll up your sleeves and take the lead role and help get the job done. A lot of times in an organization, it's not, you don't try to accomplish things alone. It's a total team effort. So be a team player. Your appearance, your tone of voice, your overall professionalism, they all go a long way in establishing your reputation. How do you want to be remembered? Ask yourself that. Every interaction you have with a customer and coworker influences their decision about you, either positively or negatively. You must be a good listener. There's a reason God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. because it's much easier to talk than it is to listen. So that's imperative. You have to listen. When recruiting to fill a vacant position, we strive to find people that are customer-driven and friendly. They must have 3 primary characteristics in order to be successful. They must be bright, meaning they can think at a higher level to develop a plan or a solution. They have to be verbal. They can articulate their thoughts, and they can communicate and convey what they're thinking and pass it on to others. They have to be approachable, meaning people can warm up to them. So it's pretty easy. It's a BVA. You have to be bright, verbal, and approachable. Simple, but not always the case. We believe that engaged employees translate into satisfied customers who in turn reward us with repeat business. Here at ESSA, we currently employ about 250 employees occupying over 100 job classifications. Many jobs in the organization have a clear progression, and we always try to promote from within. We try to take care of our own people, and we try to develop their skill sets and give them the tools and the experience necessary to advance within the organization. The bank encourages all employees to continue their education in areas related to their banking careers. To this end, we'll pay tuition and textbook costs. We'll give them reimbursement for taking advantage of the educational opportunities. We also offer a variety of other in-house training. Some of the positions that we have here at the bank: accounting, marketing, human resources, security, meaning securing people's accounts and watching over their accounts if there's any issues regarding that. We have compliance positions, commercial lending, account operations, meaning when accounts are opened, we've got to maintain all of those accounts and do what's necessary in compliance areas for those accounts. Retail banking, teller, account opening positions. We have credit administration. When we give a loan, we have to make sure someone is financially worthy of receiving that loan. So we have to do credit analysis. Mortgage lending. If you're looking to buy a home, we'll lend money to do that. And then we have to process and service the loans that we make. There's trust services, meaning if someone has retirement money or they came into some inheritance and they don't quite know how to manage that money, they'll come to us and we will manage that for them. It's wealth management. We have a training department. We have brokerage accounts. If somebody wants to buy and sell securities or stocks. We have consumer lending. If you need a home equity loan or a personal loan. We do electronic banking because a lot of our banking services are now done online or on the internet, which again, we have to support that. And we have facilities because we have 21 branches, we have a corporate center, and we have regional offices that need to be maintained. And sometimes loans don't go the way we would expect them to go, and we have to get involved in the collections department. So we work with people to try to get their loans current. We can always teach someone the technical aspects of a job, but people need to come to us having the soft skills necessary to do the job. The soft skills, again, are so important. You must be willing to look and act professional. A well-groomed business appearance and a courteous manner go a long way with customers. Bottom line, and there's a reason there's a dress code in a lot of the schools, because we want people to look and act professionally. So customers and coworkers should never be distracted by what you wear. You want to just blend in. You don't want to look or wear outlandish clothing or have tattoos or body piercings that are visible or distracting in nature. So all the things that you learn and hear about in school, they translate over into the workforce. So a lot of these things are important. So take them seriously in school. because the expectations are that what they're teaching you at school will also be expected here in the workforce. So how do you fit into all of this? Well, winning in many aspects of life doesn't happen without teamwork. You must support one another and have a cooperative behavior to achieve success. It takes a total team effort to be successful. Being part of a team is not incidental, but fundamental to your overall success in life. You want to stick to the task until it sticks to you, meaning you want to keep at it until you've got it and you can do it in your sleep. For beginners are many and finishers are few. Practice doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well. We always say in the banking industry that we offer the same products and services, all the things I just mentioned about the different types of jobs and departments we have. Every financial institution in the country does what we do, and they all do that in the same communities in which we reside and do business in. So what separates us from our competition? It's the skills that our people have in order to serve the customer. So customer service is paramount here at ESSA. That's what we compete on, service, not products that we offer. We want to provide the best service in town. You will be successful if you follow these simple rules. You want to show up on time, just like it's required at school. We expect that here at the bank. Show up on time, pay attention to detail. You need to have laser focus sometimes. And if you make a mistake, mistakes are okay to make. Use it as a learning opportunity, but don't repeat your mistake. Learn from it. And work hard. It's not going to be easy. Life isn't easy. I know when you go home and you study for a test or you have a big exam, it doesn't come easy. It takes work. Well, it takes work when you're in the workforce. And a lot of times you have to rely on others. So it's team building and a commitment. And most of all, never give up. Never give up. If you work hard and are willing to learn, the opportunities will come and you will be well prepared to seize the moment. Don't ever go through life just passing through. Make a mark along the way. I wish you the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That was great. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, I know I have some things I want to wrap up with, but does anyone have any specific questions for either Tom or Angel before we do a wrap up? I think, you know, they both delivered great messages that were very similar, but a little bit different in delivery. And again, if no one has any questions, I can kind of wrap things up because I do have some things I do want to say before we head out. Does anyone have any specific questions that they want answered from Tom of VSSA or Angel of CompTIA? Again, you can either put it in the chat or you can raise your hand and ask it. Either one is completely fine. So what I wanted to add to what these guys or what these gentlemen said today was I couldn't agree more with what they said. I mean, I think, you know, Angel started off by saying how many opportunities there are in the field of technology. And you know, he also said something that I think I try to do with my students at Stroudsburg with career development is, you know, find something that you're passionate about and you love. You know, what I took away from what Angel said was, you know, he's been passionate about this for the last 40 some years of his life. And you can tell that with how he spoke, you know. You can tell that he's passionate about technology and then he wants, you know, the future to be passionate about what he does as well. Another thing he said is all the opportunities that you have right now in technology. The field is growing tremendously, whether it be in healthcare, whether it be in IT support. You know, there's so many opportunities in technology. Okay, and then Tom, when Tom spoke, he said, you know, soft skills and skills that, you know, you need to come to the job with. We can teach you how to do the job, but you need to teach yourself how to be the best human you can possibly be. And one thing I took away from what Tom said was, you know, don't stop working. You know, and Angel said this too. They both said when you get into a career, you're always going to be learning. You know, I know when I was in high school, and I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, man, I can't wait to get out of high school so I can stop learning. You're never going to stop learning. It's never going to happen. Okay. You know, and one of the things Tom said that resonated with me was, you know, you have to be a hard worker. You know, I started my career in physical education, health and phys ed, you know. Actually, I started my career as a federal correctional officer after I got a 4-year degree in health and phys ed, which is something I never thought I would do. And then I got a teaching degree, or I started teaching after that. And now I'm an administrator for a big school district in Monroe County, K-12. So again, work hard, do your best. There's a lot of opportunities right now in this world if you're willing to work really, really hard and be passionate about what you do. Okay.
You know what, Clint? I'm gonna interject there for a second.
Yeah.
If you love what you do, when you work, you don't even realize how hard you're working. No matter how busy you are, you love what you're doing. The day just goes by so fast, you know, and it really doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I'm sure some of you guys understand and girls understand what Angel's saying when you have the classes where you absolutely love what you're learning about, you love the teacher, and that class just goes by so fast, you know. And if you can find a career that happens, that's what we want you to try to do, you know, whether that be in tech, whether that be in business, whether that be in healthcare, whatever pathway you choose. So that's pretty much all I have, guys. And Angel and Tom, if you don't have anything else, I think, you know, I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the students' time. Again, students, I did get your attendance down, so I will be sharing that with your school districts. Unfortunately, I don't think the attendance sheet worked as well as it was supposed to, but that's okay. We got that taken care of. But other than that, I appreciate everyone's time, and I look forward to continuing this with. I believe we have one more virtual session, which will be next Tuesday at 3:30. So. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.